Hey everybody, I'm Mike, this is Budget Guns and Gear Reviews, and you are watching the Right to the People single shot, where it's you, me, and whatever stripped my trigger today. So uncover your keyboards and fire up your fingers. Time to join the conversation. Hey everybody, I'm Mike with currently Budget Guns and Gear Reviews. And this is a Right of the People single shot, kinda. I don't really have an intro for something that's not about two-way politics and such, so I just kind of threw that one in there. What we're actually doing here today is, for those of you who don't know, haven't heard, didn't care, I am not going to be doing the Right of the People this weekend on Friday, as is my normal custom. That's because on Friday, which is coincidentally my birthday, I'm going to be traveling to Camden, Tennessee to attend a fighting pistol class given by Tactical Response, which, as you may or may not know, is the training home of James Yeager. That's his company. I'm not sure if James is going to be the one teaching the class or not, but apparently he's going to be around, so I'm sure he'll pop in. So I wanted to ask, since there are a lot of opinions about James Yeager floating around out there on the internet, the forums, Reddit, YouTubes, pretty much anywhere the man's name is mentioned, there's an opinion. So I wanted to ask a couple people that I know are alumni of his fighting pistol class. So I invited Ghost Tactical to come and speak on it, and G-Webs as well, if G is going to come. But before we get into all that, I would like to welcome Ghost. How are you, sir? Thanks for coming.
Yeah, man. What's going on, bro? Happy birthday, or early birthday, I should say.
Yeah. It is just about time. All it means is my ass is getting older, that's all.
Yeah, it's just another day. It's another day. I hear
That
you.
is it. That is it. Trying to futz with my scroll down there. It's apparently going a little bit slower than I want it to. It does that when I try to stream in 1080. I should just say to hell with it and stream in 720 because, well, apparently my internet is like robocalls. So
I don't know if anyone's is like robocalls, but maybe Yankees.
It ain't where I want it to be, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I gotta talk to my cable company. But
so you excited about going, or?
Oh hell yeah! Dude, I get to go take what is considered by some people a top tier pistol class and shoot a bunch of ammo. And even though that's like, I didn't like what I've had to pay for the ammo, but I get to go learn stuff. Come on, yeah, oh yeah, love it.
Yeah, it's one of those where it is hands down a top tier class. So yes, absolutely.
Mountain View says finding the ammo for a class. Bold move, Cotton. Yeah, I know. It was painful. It was painful. He wanted to take 1,000 rounds, and the ammo cost more than the class did. So yeah.
You won't need all of it, but I would take at least 750 of it for sure.
Well, I'm going to take it all because I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah, I took 1,000 and it was shooting about 700 or so, 750 somewhere in there.
Yeah. Oh, we got Gun Loving Grandpa in the house. Hi, Buck. Rich White's out there. Tennessee Gun Guy says, "Oh boy, this is going to be a lovely chat." LOL. I got MK Joe out there. Hello, hello. Defense Dad, Ozzy Osbourne's out there. Mountain View is here. Rich White says, "A very happy unbirthday to everyone except Budget." Happy birthday, Mike. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So, fighting pistol. I have the vaguest clue of what I'm in for based on, pistol classes I've taken before and based on videos and whatnot. And plus, Tactical Response's own website. But you've been there, Ghost. Tell us tell us what you can of what I'm in for.
I mean, it's a 2-day class. A lot of it is the first. I'm not gonna lie. The first day on the range, at least, I mean, it's all good. But if you've taken other pistol classes, it's gonna be a little redundant, which is sometimes good because I'll tell you, when I went there, and I've got a ton of training under me, but when I went there, I honestly was like, because he even came up to me, he was like, "So I know it's a little bit slow, a little bit to start out," and I was like, actually, I like it because you forget sometimes to just work on the fundamental mechanics of drawing properly and making sure that your presentation is consistent and all of that stuff. So the first part of the first day on the range, at least, is going to be interesting. I'll tell you what. I'll just tell you this: the classroom portion, which most classes, the classroom portion is boring and it's just why are we doing this? The classroom portion of fighting pistol is worth the price of admission by itself. If you, I swear to you, if you, and I want you to call me when you get heading back on the road, but when you leave there and you are not a changed person from the classroom portion of it, then you weren't listening. And I'm being dead honest about that. It's great. And the second day of the range is really, really fun. That's when you get to do a lot of the moving and shooting from behind cover and concealment and all that kind of cool stuff. But I mean, it is a very, very, very good class, but the classroom portion alone is worth the price of admission.
Well, without giving away the store, what is it about the classroom portion that makes it so life-changing?
It's one of those where, especially if you're a person that carries every day, or you're thinking about carrying and being, as he calls it, that warrior, it's going to open your mind to so many things. It's a mindset. I mean, he talks about the mindset of that everyday warrior, and it's really eye-opening because it'll make you think, it'll make you question yourself a little bit in a good way. But it's just one of those things where it's going to really open your mind to a different way of thinking about carrying every day, and it's amazing. And you know me, I mean, concealed carry is a big thing in my life and a big mission for my channel. So obviously, but like I said, if you carry or you're thinking about carrying, or you carry every now and then, you'll walk away from there going, I get it now. I get it. It's awesome.
Let's see. Buck says when Budget gets back from class, he'll be hating on 40 Smith and Wesson. Why would he say that? Does James rag on 40?
A little bit. I mean, James is one of those. He's a Glock 19, Glock 17 guy.
I can get with that.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't shame. He likes to joke about that. And I'll put it to you this way. This is just my take. And most people know that I'm not a fan of James Yeager on YouTube. I've had him on the show. Don't particularly like James Yeager on YouTube. He's the same guy in person, very arrogant, very outspoken. But when it comes to training, he flips a switch and he takes it extremely serious. His instructors are phenomenal. I mean, you know that they have the respect of teaching. They want, he'll tell you, like, I hope I never see you again. Like, if I do my job, I'll never see you again. And he's serious about that. I mean, he has different classes. Yeah, he comes to a different class, but I should never see you again, But there are people, when I was there were people that were taking the fighting pistol class for like the 15th time. They take it once a year. And when you get there, you'll know why. For different reasons I can't say on there. But, I mean, as an alum, you can pretty much go back however many times you want to take that same class.
Let's see. That kind of segued into Warsaw's question. He says, "Hey, I have a question. Is James different off camera, or am I seeing who he is on camera if I go to tactical response?"
He's the same dude as far as personality. He's gonna joke a little bit. He doesn't really care if you like him or not. He's not there to be your friend. He's there to be your instructor. So as far as his personality, he is the same guy. But when it comes to the training, like once you step foot on that training, on the range or in that classroom, like he goes into like I'm here to save your life mode, and it's really kind of cool. Like and it's one of those things where like when it was over, like we didn't want to tell anyone that I wasn't there as Ghost Tactical. He let me film a couple things, and he'll let you film a couple things if you want. He'll tell you don't film this and all that. But he will let you film. But at the end of it, he pulls me up in front of the whole. There's like 50 people there at the class, and a couple of people knew me. That was a couple of years ago, so I mean, like a couple of people recognized me and all that. And he says, "Well, what do you think?" He said, "This guy right here said I was on his YouTube thing, and he doesn't like me very much, but I told him to come train with me, and Jen judged me." He says, "What do you think right now?" And I had a conversation with him, the night before at dinner. And I told him, I said, "Look, I still don't like you," and just kind of laughing and joking. He was like, "That's fair." And I said, "Bro, I'll go train with you any day, anywhere." And I was dead serious about it. So you can say what you want to about the guy, but when it comes to an instructor, he's world class. He really is.
Well, you know what? I can appreciate that because I don't care if I like you.
Yep.
I want the information. I want the training. I want the knowledge. I want to build my skills. I want to broaden my horizons and increase my depth of knowledge, not just as an instructor, but as someone who concealed carries every day. Yeah. So let's talk about day one. If you can give just a quick rundown, as I said, not giving away the store, but just an overview. What's day one going to be?
See, here's the thing is I don't know exactly how a normal day one goes because...
Well, how did your day one go?
Saturday morning there, it rained about 3 inches that morning. So we did... Usually, from what I understand, usually you meet at his place, and then you go to the range, and then you come back in the afternoon and do some class stuff. Well, we flipped it. So our day one, we spent the whole morning at his place doing the classroom stuff. And then in the afternoon, we went out to the range. And then, so it was a classroom talk, and it lasted several hours. There was lunch and all of that. They'll give you time for lunch, and he's going to hang out with you the whole time. He's there. The classroom, he gives the classroom 100% of the classroom. That's him. And at the range, he is there. He lets his instructors instruct, but he's kind of like floating around. He's talking to people, just watching, and if anyone needs any help. Like there was a person that had just bought their first gun about a month prior to that, and so he literally pulled this guy off to the side because he was having trouble with some of the drills, right? Mm-hmm. And they're basic, but for this guy, they were foreign to him, right? And he pulled him off to the side, and for like half an hour, he wouldn't let him go to the next drill until he got that first one. But he didn't want to hold the class up, so he took that guy off personally, made sure that he was going to get it, and then brought him back into the rest of the class. So it was one of those cool. It was one of those things, like I said, on the range. He takes it like, this is his craft,
Good. I like to see that. Let me go out to the. Go ahead. Continue.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, like I said, he has his instructors teach the class. I mean, he's there. He teaches some of it, but when they're doing the drills, his instructors go through the drills, and he's going to be there floating, looking around and talking. But like a lot of times when the first wave of 15 or 20 are going to go up there, he sometimes will come back to the back when you're at the reloading, you're reloading your magazines and all that. And he'll like, "Hey, you guys have any questions on what you just did? If you do, ask them now." I'm dead serious. Ask them now because I don't want you to go back on that line without understanding what just happened. And he'll just kind of walk around. And if anyone has any questions, he'll like, "Hey, ask them." You're not going to hurt. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Ask your questions and let me help you right now. It's pretty cool.
So it sounds like it's about, let's get you trained. Let's give you the knowledge.
Yeah.
Let's make sure you understand what we're doing here.
Like I said, I mean, he takes the training side, serious. Like he's all about it. And you can see his passion. His instructors are passionate about it. More importantly, he'll tell you straight up, I hope I never have to see you again. But the cool thing about it is he'll tell you, if you take this class and you're ever involved in a shoot in your life, like you have to actually draw and you're involved in a self-defense shoot, all you have to do is call him and he'll come testify for you in court on his dime. That's the kind of person he is.
Wow. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, it's like I said, you have this guy that you want to hate so much, but then you're around him, and to this very day, like we'll see each other at SHOT Show or NRAM or wherever, and he'll walk up and give me a hug. Hey, bro, when am I going to see you next? Like, you need to come in and do another class. Like, I'll say, yeah, I need to. He's like, he'll just, he knows that there was this little riff, but there was this thing between us, and every time we see each other, he's like, hey, what's up, bro? He'll come give me a hug, and he's like, hey, man, how's everything going? You still working? Yeah, oh, yeah. He goes, hey, man, I want you to come see me again,
Awesome.
And he's genuine about that. When it comes to that, he's very genuine.
Okay. Buck wants to know when I'm taking the class. This Saturday and Sunday, the 15th and the 16th. As I said, I'm leaving Friday to drive down there. It's like a 9-hour drive or something like that. So I'm going to drive on down there on Friday and hang out in the hotel Friday night, and then probably edit video and stuff because I'll take my laptop with me and whatnot. And then take the class on Saturday and Sunday, and after class, leave and drive straight through back home. That's my plan anyway.
Now, depending upon what time you get there Friday, a lot of people head over to his building, and they'll hang out and just hang out and BS for a little while up there with him. They'll just kind of hang out and everyone and all that. So, if you get there early enough, you might want to head over there and check in, at least find your way. And if there's people there, then he's probably there hanging out.
Okay. That sounds like it might be a plan.
And if you guys, like, we all went to dinner, it's a small town, and there's only like several restaurants to really choose from. And we all went, I would say all of us, I'd say about 35 or 40 of the 50 went to this Mexican restaurant, and he and his wife went with us and hung out and ate with us and just set the tables and talked. Just like an old, it was really cool. He's like, I want to be around you guys. This is what I do. He does a YouTube, and he told me, like, we were talking, and he's like, I do YouTube to get people to know about the training. The YouTube thing is whatever, but like, he wants people to come train with him because he's very confident that if he can get you to train, he's going to make you better.
Well, and that's what training should be about. It shouldn't be to stroke anybody's ego. It shouldn't be about anything but making the student better.
Yeah.
That's how I've always seen it anyway.
Yeah. You'll be better when you leave, I promise.
Well, good, because that's what I'm after. Not gonna lie, I'm after content too, of course, but
Absolutely.
but if it's content that'll make me better at doing it, shit. That's awesome.
He'll give you an interview. He'll do. He'll do whatever you want. Like I said, he'll let you film it. He'll tell you something. Hey, just don't film this section or this, whatever. But he'll let you film pretty much what you want, except for a few things.
Okay.
And when you get there, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I can't say it.
Sure. Mountain View asks if I'm bringing the EC9S. No, sir. I'm going to take my Glock 48 as the primary and my 26 as a backup in case my 48 goes down. Those are the two I'm going to take because I know there are some exercises with racking the slide off your belt and whatnot. And that just isn't going to happen with the EC9S because of the way the slides are milled into the slide, the way the sights are milled into the slide. And, with my 48 and my 26, I know I can do it with those. So that, and anymore, I'm carrying my 48 a lot. So I figure I should train with that.
So I can't say what it is, but there will be a drill that will test your firearm. And one of the guys in my group, his firearm failed after this test miserably. And it's because it's a crap firearm to begin with, but it is what it is. It's what the guy had. Yeah. But he couldn't shoot it. It would jam every single time and all of that. And he got his gunsmithing stuff out, tried to work on the gun, couldn't get it to work. He finally looked at the guy and he said, "Here." He lifts up his jacket, pulls off his holster with his Glock 19. He said, "Use this for the next day and a half."
Damn.
Took his gun off of his waist in his holster and said, "Use mine. I don't want you to not train." Because first of all, the guy didn't bring a backup gun. He's like, "Here." Pull off his holster, gave him his gun, and said, "Use mine for the next day and a half. Make sure you give it back before you leave."
All right. That's and again, that just reinforces, I think, the mindset of I'm here for the student, which is what you want in an instructor.
Yes.
This 100%. Is sounding more and more like a good idea. Let's see. Buck says, "At least it won't be too hot." Yeah, I was going to take it in July, and James sent me an email. He's like, "Hey, dude, we don't have anybody else scheduled for that class in July right now. I mean, if nobody else schedules, we'll have to move you around." And I'm like, "Well, okay, yeah, I guess I could do it." He's like, "Yeah, because this whole July in Tennessee being hot as balls thing, that might be why." So that's why I moved it to this weekend, because it was the only one I have free where I'm not teaching a class or going to some event or something else for the next 2 or 3 months. It was my birthday weekend. So yeah.
Yeah, I went that first weekend in December a few years back, and we were lucky because it was like in the 50s, so it was kind of perfect,
Defense Dad says, "Budget. When you guys get finished up, I wouldn't mind a few tips. Taking my first defensive pistol class with targets that come at you. Never done live fire, live draw shooting scenarios." Really? You've never drawn and then fired live? Wow. That's... Carly Ellison points out that she can disarm most men with nothing more than a cast iron pan. All right, are you sure you're not my little sister in disguise? Because she whacked me in the leg once when we were kids with a cast iron ladle. My dad used to cast bullets and shit. That still hurts.
She's come after me with golf clubs before.
Shoo! Ain't no joke.
I probably deserved it, though.
Delray Dan says, "Salute at Gun Lover Grandpa." Here's a question. Jason Sewer says, "Is the training shooting at human simulated targets or bullseyes?" My assumption would be they're silhouette targets, right?
Yeah, they're silhouettes. They have different targets out there for different drills. They'll have some silhouettes. They'll have some bullseye. They'll have some steel out there. They've got all sorts of stuff for different types of drills and all of that. But yeah, I will say this: you're not gonna realize it while you're doing it because you're gonna be focused on the task at hand. But when you're back watching other people, there will be a drill or two that his instructor is gonna be about 10 feet in front of you at like a 45-degree angle, but they're gonna be in front of you. They're watching certain things, but when I was doing it, I didn't realize it, that he was in front of me. I was just shooting and doing this stuff. And then when I got done, I was watching the next guy go, and I was like, "Hey, was he in front of me?" He goes, "Yeah, he's been like that with everyone." I was like, "Wow, like that's I've never seen an instructor be in front of someone while there's firing, not like I said, it's not directly in front. They're off at a 45, but they are like breaking that 180, it's kind of an interesting thing, but that's what they do. They want to be able to see everything that you're doing to make sure your mechanics are right. And sometimes you can't see that from behind. So they obviously are going to be able to know pretty quickly if they're able to do that with you, and there are some people they won't do that with, but if they feel confident that, that your handling is safe, your shooting's decent, yeah, they're going to make sure they get in every aspect they can from you. So it's kind of weird if you've never experienced that. It is a little weird at first.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you forewarned me on that, because seeing that would probably freak me out. Because but then again, when I'm teaching people the basic pistol class, the what Ohio requires to get a concealed handgun license, and most of them are like 0 skill level, so I won't get in front of nobody. But this is a different thing, I guess. I'll just have to see it and judge it for myself when I see it.
Like I said, I mean, when you're actually shooting, you're not going to be paying attention because you're going to be focused on the drill that you're doing. But yeah, when you're watching other people, you're like, oh, that's different, The cool thing about it, though, is being an instructor yourself, he offers an instructor certification class, and it's actually a 5-day class. It's all week.
I've seen that.
But he goes, I haven't taken, obviously, but I know some people that have, and they said it's amazing because he'll teach you how to give presentations, how to instruct, how to do, how to set up your classes and formatting it. And I mean, it's a 5-day thing, and you've got to get up every day and give like a presentation to the class and to him, and it's a pass-fail thing and all that, and he'll tell you, hey, you need to work on this, and you've got to get this under 2 minutes or whatever. But yeah, supposedly his instructor's class is phenomenal as well.
I'm kind of going to reserve paying for that one until after I've taken fighting pistol and maybe fighting rifle.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I've, and again, I'm. That's one of the things I'm branching out to try to do for a living nowadays, is the teach classes and do the YouTube thing and write and all that stuff. But I kind of want to reserve the right to make a decision on whether or not I'm going to take that class until after I've taken a couple others, because that one's kind of it's not exactly this way to Cheap Street, but if the other instruction is as good as I'm hearing, I probably won't hesitate too long to book that one too.
Yeah, that's the fighting rifle class is actually a class that I was probably thinking about taking this fall. I've heard a lot of great things about the fighting rifle class as well, and so
let me know if you decide to take it. Maybe we'll take the same one.
I was going to say, maybe we could all go down there, maybe get several of us go down there this fall and take it. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. That would be really damn fun. Wheeled and Well Armed says, sorry, I missed which class. I'm going to Camden, Tennessee to Tactical Response, which is James Yeager's company, and I'm taking his fighting pistol class this weekend. And Ghost is an alumni, so I figured I'd ask him, what his impressions of the class were and what I can expect. Let's see. Someone out there asked about what do we recommend for a bore sight. I like to use the laser bore sighters that are shaped like the cartridge. I don't like to use the ones that you just jam in your muzzle because, A, I don't like to jam anything in my muzzle. And B, I think the ones that are shaped like a cartridge and go in your chamber, I think they are more of an exact fit for that gun. And then you just get that about 25 yards away, then move your crosshairs or reticle or whatever for your optic onto where the laser's hitting. And you should at least be on paper and pretty close to the zero. Then you just go through your normal zero process. You put it in a bench or whatnot and fire 3 rounds and move your crosshairs and go from there. That's what I do anyway. Let's see. Wheel to Wall Arm says kick ass. Thanks. Okay, so we talked a little bit about day 1. What is day 2 like?
So day 2, you're going to spend all day at the range. You'll get out there at like 8 o'clock in the morning. You'll get out at I don't know exactly, but you get out. You have to meet at the place at like either 7:30 or 8 or whatever, and he'll do a safety brief there real quick, and then you'll get in your vehicle and you'll follow him, 15 minutes or so to the range, and you'll spend all morning there, and then you'll have lunch. So bring a lunch with you. Bring whatever you want to eat because you're going to eat from your vehicle. So bring a lunch with you, both days actually. And then in the afternoon you'll shoot again till about 3 or 4, and it's a full day on the range for sure.
Okay. Now, at 3 or 4, do you head back to the classroom, or at 3 or 4 is it okay? See ya.
No, like when you get done shooting at the range, they'll have like the final debriefing there, and you'll pass out certificates and all that stuff, and just kind of have a little meeting out there. And at that point, you're free to go, and you just leave from the range.
All right. Well, does anybody out there in the chat have any questions for Ghost about this? Or, if we have any other topics you want to talk about, like who was it that wanted to ask about Defense Dad? Wanted to ask about tips or whatnot for the class he's going to take. He says, by the way, to continue that conversation, he said earlier that the ranges around him don't allow to draw from a holster. I wonder what the hell that's about. I don't know that I would go to a range that didn't, but if that's all the choice you have, that's all the choice you have, I guess. So fire them at us, guys. If you have any questions, sound out. Oh, Gun Snob and Jason Stewart are talking about how much they missed each other. I think someone's lying.
I think they're both lying.
Yeah, I think so. Matter of fact, Rich White says, Jason Stewart, the Gun Snob, I think one of you two are lying, LOL. Yeah, both of them, most likely.
No one's going to miss seeing Snob, so I think Jason's lying.
Yeah, most likely. I don't think Mystic misses seeing him.
I think Mystic is happy when he goes on the road for work. I really do.
Yeah, no kidding. I can just hear him. You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So nobody has any questions for us? Focus on the front sight or the rear? Always focus on the front sight with a pistol. And with a rifle, too, as far as I know. Focus on the front sight. Don't focus on the rear sight. I mean, you want to have it focused enough to ensure that you have your front sight level with your rear sight and equal space in between the front sight and the rear sights. But, yeah, your focus should be on your front sight.
Yeah, you should be able to line up your rear with your quote unquote peripheral, which is basically going to be it's going to be blurry, a little bit fuzzy, but you should be able to line up and get everything. But you're focused on that front side at all times.
Absolutely, that's your focus. If you want to practice that and you're having trouble getting your eyes to focus at that, if you wear bifocals. Which I do. On the range, they make shooting glasses that are top focals, where you can find out exactly what strength of magnification you need so that the eye will focus through the top of your lens instead of the bottom for that distance. That helps tremendously on getting the focus on the front sight. I reviewed a pair. It's SS. Matter of fact, I got the front focal pair I have right here. SSP Eyewear makes them, and they're awesome. You can see your front sight crisp and sharp if you get once you get the magnification dialed in right. They also make a set of glasses that have a prescription insert, which is typically what I'll use on the range. It's what I'm going to use with me this weekend because it lets it focus enough to where I can get the front sight, but I can also see everything else. So, that's always a plus. I want to do that so that because when I'm out walking around in public, I'm not wearing top focal glasses. In this instance, when I'm not target shooting, when I'm training, I want to train with the same prescription that I wear. So that's why I'm using that. Jason Stewart says, "What's the training cost?" I think it's around $550, something like that.
Yeah.
Rich White, do they have transportation for people who, for whatever reason, can't drive themselves? You mean from the class to the range? I couldn't tell you. I'm sure.
I mean, I'm sure you can ride with James or, one of the 5 or 10 instructors that they have, or one of the other 50 people that are there will let you ride with them. I'm sure it would be no problem whatsoever.
Gun Lover Grandpa says, "Can you use a red dot on your pistol for the class?"
So, hold on here. Let me go over here because the dog is playing. So what he will tell you is, yes, you can. He wants you to bring the gun that you're going to carry. He wants you to bring the holster that you're going to carry. So if you're going to carry a gun with the dot on there, then yes, you can use it. He's not going to tell you. He's probably going to tell you that it would be smarter to, whatever his opinion would be. But I know that there were a couple people using RMRs on theirs when I was taking a class, so I don't think he would discourage it, or at least he will allow it. He might discourage it. I don't know. I don't remember what he told those guys, but I do know that he allowed them to use it, so not a big deal.
Del Ray Dan said at Ghost Tactical, "Someone told me to go and train with airsoft, and it will give me more tactical training in buildings."
I'm all for using airsoft. I think using airsoft, you can go get Umarex. Well, Umarex is going to make a lot of great replicas of guns. They're going to be the same weight, fit in the holster, and airsoft. Absolutely. I mean, you still don't want to shoot that towards anybody, but yeah, you could. If you've got like a brick wall or a concrete wall at home, and you can put some padding up there or something, you're going to get the feel of that. So yes, airsoft is, especially if you get a good airsoft gun that will replicate whatever gun you're going to carry, then it is, if you can't get to the range, then yes, airsoft is an absolute phenomenal, legitimate way to practice.
Especially if you can get a gas blowback pistol that will have a reciprocating slide to simulate the recoil and all that. And if you load it to realistic capacities, because some of them you can put 30, 40 pellets in there, but you're not going to put 30, 40 pellets in, your Glock unless you got the extendo, right? So, load it realistically and get one that's as closely mimics your gun as possible, and I don't see why not. I've contemplated doing force on force with airsoft just to get that training in. Will it be 100%? No. But if you're going 100% on that, you're in a gunfight, and I don't want that. I mean, I want to be able to win one if I'm ever forced to engage in one, but I don't want to do so willingly.
Absolutely.
Carly asks, "Can you use reloads or only factory bullets?" From what I've seen watching his videos, he would like you to use factory ammo and the best factory ammo you can get your hands on, because there's the theory that, well, at least you'll get practice changing malfunctions and whatnot, and correcting malfunctions and all that. But the thing is, are you absorbing the knowledge that you're supposed to be absorbing, or are you busy messing with your gun? So, if I'm paying that kind of money, I want to be getting the knowledge, not learning how to play with my gun.
Yeah, it's not that he bans reloads. Because I mean, he wants you to use factory ammo, and it's not like he's going around checking to see if you're using factory or reloads. He's just going to make the point is on top of what you just said. If you're using reloads, especially if you're not the one who reloaded them, you don't know what you're getting. I mean, it could be a safety hazard, for not just you, but the person next to you.
You could be another Kentucky ballistics.
There you go. No kidding. Yeah, well, you're not using a 50 BMG, but yeah, I mean, if someone explodes, I mean, I know people that have had, really hot loads and gun explode on them and they lost a finger, I mean, it's just one of those things. So I think that's what he wants to make sure is it's just a safety issue, but he's not going to go around and check and say, excuse me, sir, are you using reloads? No, he's just going to say, hey, here's what I recommend, but he's not going to be the police out there checking on stuff.
If you're taking a 50 BMG pistol to a fighting pistol class, then my hat's off to you. And I don't know, I would question whether or not you actually need that class.
Well, I'll put it this way. I would hate to see the wrath that he would bring upon you if you showed up with a 50 BMG.
Yeah, no kidding.
Even to his sniper course, he probably wouldn't want you to bring a 50 BMG. First of all, if you're going to go a 50 BMG, you must be, I mean, first of all, just think about the cost of ammo for one of those classes.
Yeah, 1,000 rounds of 50 BMG. Come on,
get you some. That's at least $5,000-$7,000 just on ammo.
Jason Stewart says, "Taking an AR pistol. Tell them you're from the South Side of Chicago. That's what you carry." That kind of defeats the purpose of the class, I would imagine.
Well, and that's the thing about fighting rifle is, I would say from what I was talking to him, the vast majority these days that are coming to fighting rifle are actually bringing AR pistols and PCCs.
I wouldn't doubt it. They're extremely popular.
Yeah. And I think he actually kind of he'll encourage you bring in a PCC because, he part of the class is, no offense, but if you can get a 9mm AR pistol, that's probably going to be a much better kind of a truck gun type scenario than maybe a 223 or something. But yeah, I mean, he did say that the vast majority of the last few years have been coming with 223 pistols or like 9mm pistols or whatever, but they're coming with pistols and they're coming with a lot of PCCs.
So speaking of what you take with you, we know that if you've looked into the class at all, James has a gear list of things that you need to bring.
Have you watched the video yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you absolutely need 100% of it? Or are there some things you can slide on? Or, I mean, if you were going to take this class this weekend, what would you take with you?
I would make sure that you've got some kind of durable pant, whether they're jeans or tactical pants, because you will be on the ground. You will be doing that stuff. I would suggest bringing some knee pads. Just saying, you'll thank me later for it.
I went out and bought some today.
But I mean, honestly, I would bring. I mean, how many holsters do you have for your each? Do you have just one holster per gun?
For the 48, yeah, really, I've got the one.
Okay.
For the 26, I've got a couple.
Bring, if you've got a couple, bring a couple different holsters. But really, I would say that as long as you've got, I would say, minimum of 5 magazines per gun. Minimum. Ammo, I mean, as far as the gear list that he says, I would say durable pants, knee pads, at least 5 magazines, if not more, per gun. And if you've got multiple holsters, because the last thing you want to have is a holster break or something, because like I said, you're going to be on the ground some, and you don't want a holster to break. So always have a backup and all of that. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where all of that stuff that he says to bring, depending on, the individual person, for me, I as long as I had knee pads and I had pants on, pants that weren't going to rip or whatever, I was good to go personally.
So not a good idea to wear shorts and sandals?
You can. You will probably not enjoy it as much as others. Just saying.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about the holster thing. I might have to try to dig out. I've got a couple actually for the 48. I just got to dig them out.
You don't have to. I never had to, and I never saw anyone that had to change holsters. But there is, there is that possibility that something could happen,
Yeah.
The cool thing about it, I'll bring cleaning gear, because you're going to want to clean your gun after Saturday for sure before Sunday. So bring your cleaning gear.
Okay, yeah, because it's a pretty high round count class. You're going to want to.
Yeah.
You're going to want to clean.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, what is the one piece of advice that you think is the most important thing to tell somebody about this class?
I have to say there's two things.
Okay.
One, go in there humble. For real. Go in there humble. Don't think you know too much. Even if it's something that seems like it's fundamental and you're well past that point in firearms handling, you can always get better at the fundamentals. And like I said, it had been a while since I'd really focused on the fundamentals. And I was appreciative to sit there and say, man, go in there humble and go in there to absorb everything. If you go in there with the attitude of, I want to learn as much as I can, you're going to learn an enormous amount of information. So be humble and be open-minded, and you will thoroughly enjoy it.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for coming, Ghost. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody out there in the chat for coming and spending some time with us this evening. Maybe we'll make a Wednesday chat a thing. Again, I think I'm going to try to start doing the bushcraft woodsman type stuff to go with the Woodsman Wednesday thing. And I won't be doing it quite at 9 p.m. It'll be at the same time I generally do my chats is at 7. But yeah, I think that I'm going to have a hell of a time, and I think I'm going to like it. I'll try to go in there with an absolutely open mind and consider myself the blank slate and just, okay, let's start writing, That's what I want. So
yeah, you'll love it. You'll love it.
I will, of course, do a video on this when I get back, and share my experience with you guys, and I'll let you know if I think you guys ought to go ahead and take it when I'm done with it. So thanks a lot, and I'll catch you guys later.